You'll recall back in the day when Candace Owens was sort of defending some of the stuff Hitler did. You know.
Kanye.
Yeah. Here is Candace Owens reacting to a report that just before his death, Michael Jackson's will was revised and transferred to a group of people that Candace observes was a majority Jewish. And of course, well, there's a lot you can learn from that, according to Candace Owens.
Wow. Did you guys know that? Did you guys know any of that? Because I certainly didn't. I didn't realize that this was a conflict at the end of Michael Jackson's life, that suddenly they were alleging that he signed a new will and handed everything over to the very people that he was fighting, the very people that he was saying were colluding to take things from him, ended up in the end taking things from him, despite their remarkable mistake saying that he signed this new will in a place that he simply wasn't at. So yes, Michael Jackson's estate was transferred over to specific individuals who happened to be Jewish. So what do we make of all this? What do we make of all this? What do you think about all of this? Well, I'm going to be honest with you.
Pause it for 1 second. I just want to say, like, when you say, the reason why you say things to people that happen to be Jewish or happen to be black or happen to be, I don't know, race car drivers, is to say that it's irrelevant. That they were of that category of people was irrelevant. But when you bring it up in the first place, when it wasn't explicitly clear, what you're doing is you're implying that it's relevant. Even though I'm pretending and using a language construct that suggests that it's irrelevant. So if I say to like Bradley, like, Bradley, good job with this sound sheet today, even though you happen to be late. And there's some things about this sound sheet that didn't work out that I think probably could have used more time, even though you happen to be late.
I didn't realize we were talking about the tardiness also.
It just happened to be right there, but okay, so here, continue, because it just so happens that they were Jewish. That's not relevant to the story, except for...
Because I certainly didn't. I didn't realize that this was a conflict at the end of Michael Jackson's life, that suddenly they were alleging that he signed a new will and handed everything over to the very people that he was fighting, the very people that he was saying were colluding to take things from him, ended up in the end taking things from him, despite their remarkable mistake saying that he signed this new will in a place that he simply wasn't at. So yes, Michael Jackson's estate was transferred over to specific individuals who happened to be Jewish. So what do we make of all this? What do we make of all this? What do you think about all of this? Well, I'm going to be honest with you that these claims keep coming up too often in Hollywood for me to be comfortable with it. Right? We saw this, obviously, it's not just now the Diddy lawsuit, it's not just now Michael Jackson. We also have seen these claims with Kanye West, notoriously, obviously, when he tweeted out, I'm about to go DEFCON 3 on some Jews, and the media freaked out, and people in the Jewish community were understandably very scared, not knowing what he meant. And I very much abstained from speaking much about the issue because people were so emotional that people couldn't hear, even if I had shared. And even when Kanye did share that he was speaking about specific people in Hollywood that he believed were coming after him and were trying to control him. He actually named some of those individuals. He shared personal text messages of a friend of his, a personal trainer to the stars, who again happens to be Jewish, was threatening to put him in the hospital and to drug him against his will. Harley Pasternak is his name, and the media barely reported on those text messages that he shared publicly because obviously he was enemy number one. And here's what else I will tell you. When that Kanye situation went down, I was being threatened by a person named Rabbi Shmuley, person that Michael Jackson put on his enemy list, the person that I had never heard of, was threatening me and saying that unless I came out and said things explicitly against Kanye, he would effectively ruin my life. He said that he would take out a front page ad and smear me as an anti-Semite. And it wasn't just him, it was also his daughter. They're messaging me saying, don't mess with Jews. Very bizarre stuff, and they have not stopped, to be clear. And him and his daughter have consistently pulled clips from this show, taken them out of context, and tried to convince Jewish people that I hate them.
Candace Owens is gripped with a poisonous, almost pathological hatred of Jews. It's actually become very serious. It's actually almost frightening. When you see a woman like Candace Owens blood libeling the Jewish people, by the way, Candace Owens is losing it. Her anti-Semitism goes by the day.
There is something really, truly wrong with Candace Owens. You guys know that I dislike liars and anti-Semites more than anything in the whole entire world. And here, we have a combination of both.
Candace Owens simply will not stop defending Kanye West. It's like an obsession. If she's unable to genuinely and authentically condemn what Kanye said, it says a lot about her.
If you come for us, we'll come back at you with everything that we have. I have heard from hundreds of you who feel so backstabbed and betrayed and disappointed in Candace Owens and others who defended, who enabled and encouraged Kanye West to continue spreading lies and venom and medieval Jewish hatred. Candace Owens posted a picture of my face and my name and my account to her over 4 million followers yesterday, many of whom are violence crazed and unhinged.
You really went after Candace Owens today. Well,
we can move past it.
Yeah, let's move past all of this. But I will say this. Rabbi Shmuley is horrible. And right-wing reactionary. His politics are garbage. And he was like, I think, Michael Jackson's private spiritual advisor. I don't know if they ever had a falling out. I don't even care. But the fact that he's Jewish is not the issue. And I wouldn't even have to bring that up, except for that seems to be the issue with Candace Owens. You're also talking about a bunch of right-wingers as far as I'm concerned. They just happen to be right-wing.
Disgusted by her because she hates Israel. We are coming for you, Candace, on the media, on social media, on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter.
the more she defends Kanye West, the more we're going to call her out.
Defending Kanye, we will come for you.
It's utterly ridiculous. It's insane. I know many Jewish people watch this show. Many Jewish people are my friends. And so what I believe is something that should be explored is whether or not what's happening is that just like within all communities, there are gangs, right? Gangs can form. We understand this. In the Black community, we've got the Bloods and we've got the Crips. Well, imagine if the Bloods and the Crips were doing horrific things, murdering people, controlling people with blackmail. And then every time a person spoke out about it, the Bloods and the Crips would call those people racist. Would get the media to say those people were racist. Any person that was talking about a specific gang, a small group of people, would say, oh my God, no. That's like slavery. You can't at all say anything bad about the Bloods and the Crips. And the entire Black community believed it and was scared and thought, oh my God, like, is slavery actually coming back? It would be emotional manipulation because, of course, we would know that despite the fact that the Bloods and the Crips are Black, that the majority of Black people do not support the crimes that they have committed, the crimes that they continue to commit.
Pause it, because you know all the times where rational human beings go, Bloods and Crips. I mean, they happen to be Black, which I don't think you have to be Black to be in the Bloods and the Crips. But let's just pretend like that. The Bloods happen to be Black. Yeah, I don't remember hearing stuff like that.
And then another offshoot.
People talking about the Bloods and the Crips, but not so much about, and they happen to be Black.
And then another offshoot gang, also Black. She's talking about
people with blackmail. And then every time a person spoke out about it, the Bloods and the Crips would call those people racist. Would get the media to say those people were racist. Any person that was talking about a specific gang, a small group of people, would say, oh my God, no. That's like slavery. You can't at all say anything bad about the Bloods and the Crips. And the entire Black community believed it and was scared and thought, oh my God, like, is slavery actually coming back? It would be emotional manipulation because, of course, we would know that despite the fact that the Bloods and the Crips are Black, that the majority of Black people do not support the crimes that they have committed, the crimes that they continue to commit. It's a gang. But what if that is what is happening right now in Hollywood, if there is just a very small ring of specific people who are using the fact that they are Jewish to shield themselves from any criticism? It's food for thought, right? And I think, again, there have been enough people that are speaking out about a ring in Hollywood, also a ring potentially in DC, that we should start to ask those questions. All of us, Black, Spanish, Jewish, Chinese, Japanese, all Americans should want answers, because this appears to be something that is quite sinister. Wow.
Something sinister. It's a group of people, and the only thing that she can come up with is that they happen to be Jewish. How can we assess who this group of people are? All we know is that they happen to be Jewish. Is there any other delineation? They're just a group of sinister, happen to be Jewish people. I'm not saying all Jews. I'm just saying the sinister ones who are part of that group, who are not geographically located in one place or have any other distinguishing features, except for they happen to be Jewish, and they're a part of that group. I mean, this is...
Ben Shapiro is probably chomping at the bit to get out of this
Oh my
contract.
gosh. And he's so desperate to get into Hollywood. I wonder if that's what's keeping him out of Hollywood. That group of happen to be Jewish people.
The equivalent of the Bloods and the Crips.
That is really, I mean, I don't think Candace Owens is super bright. I mean, I don't think she's like, Tommy Tuberville stupid, but and she doesn't strike me as super bright, but maybe slowly walking up to the line of being a full-on anti-Semite is not that complicated or sophisticated, but that's what she's really doing. I mean, she's really, really close to it just so happens this group are Jews. I didn't say all Jews. It just so happens that 99% of Jews, I mean, that's where she's headed. Just so happens that Jews who have power, which is, overrepresented in the media and the...
And I happen to have an issue with them.
I just happen to have it. That is amazing. That is amazing.
6.5 minutes of that is just nuts.
That is full on. I mean, again, Shmuley is horrible. He's been horrible for decades. And I'm not familiar with his daughter, but if they have a decent relationship, she's probably horrible too. But I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that they happen to be Jewish. And just because you say they happen to be Jewish, where you don't have to mention that to explain anything, means that you're using that construct as a way of saying, that's sorry, not sorry. That's pretty amazing.